Hey friends, I'm reading this article so you don't have to. This is called Where Nature Ends and Settlements Begin by Jumana Manna. And this is about the relationship between the Palestinian people and foraging for herbs. This is part 3, and we're going to talk about this section called the law. And in this section, we're mostly talking about the herb thyme, or what it seems to be called za'atar. I may not be pronouncing that properly. So we're learning in this article that thyme, za'atar, was the first herb that was banned for foraging for Palestinian people. And that was back in 1977, and Ariel Sharon did that. He was the Minister of Agriculture at the time. Okay, get this. There were no official scientific studies published to legitimize the ban. Rather, it was presented as a gut decision. Okay, she goes on to say, soon after the za'atar ban, a kibbutz in the Galilee started cultivating the herb and selling it en masse back to Palestinians, as well as exporting it to Arab countries disguised by its packaging as a Palestinian product. So this kibbutz is an Israeli farm, and they're packaging it with Israeli packaging and selling it back to the Palestinian people here in the 70s. She refers to this as food appropriation. So then it was 30 years after that original ban that a variety of sage, a local variety of sage, and then also this local thistle, the akub, were added to the ban list for they're not allowed to forage it anymore. And this time there was an Israeli botanist who said that these herbs were at risk of being over-harvested, but this scientist recommended to restrict harvesting for domestic purposes only. She goes on to say, the Ministry of the Environment ended up passing a total ban instead of adopting a more nuanced approach. So the common argument from the Israeli Nature and Parks Authority, the INPA, was that they can't tell the difference between people who are gathering it just for themselves at home and people who are going to take it to the market and sell it. So that was the Israeli justification for this total ban on harvesting. She goes on to say that there's not been a single study following up on the impacts of the protection law on the plant's status in the wild. And yet hundreds of people, exclusively Arabs, have been fined and gone to trial over the collection of both this thistle and the thyme. She says, these preservation laws constitute a thin ecological veil for racist legislation designed to further alienate Palestinians and Syrians in the occupied Golan Heights from their lands. This is the land that in many cases has been expropriated by the Israeli state and administered as Jewish towns, settlements, nature reserves, military training areas, and other forms of state land. The next section is called Preservation Under Zionism, and we'll dive into that in the next video. If you have any comments or questions, I would love to hear them. Just drop them in the comments. Love, love, love it.